Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Amy and today I have some auction winnings and some more vintage finds from the antique store. So stay tuned. Alright, someday I am going to be better at spreading these out so that you guys don't get fatigued by the same subject matter. Someday when when I start crafting, we'll see some of that stuff too. And the buying obviously goes way down. So, but anyway, for this video, I played the auction game again and won. I think I've only got stuff from 2 different auctions in here. They were very small. None of this buy a bookshelf and all of the contents on the bookshelf kind of crap that I did the first time. That was a nightmare. And although I did get some really good stuff for really good prices doing that, it was torture on my family and my home. So this one, one of the auctions I won was a single book, and the other auction I won was like a small pile of games. So nothing too extravagant. All right, let's see. Let's do the auction I won for a single book. I think I won it for $2. And it's another one of these collectible books that I like. Now, you guys, for the auction, this is all I could see was the picture of the cover. Most auctions don't, for book lovers, they don't go and take pictures throughout the book for you. And it's very hard for these collector books to find anything online that shows what the inside is going to look like. So I wasn't sure, but I really liked the cover. And what I was hoping for was things that I could fussy cut that were little golden book covers, because I thought that would be fun and nostalgic. So it looks like this on the front and like this on the back. And then, you guys, the entire book is black and white. So, and not even all that great black and white, but it does have the pictures. So I will still at some point fussy cut these out. And it's a price guide. I mean, it's old, it's probably way outdated, but I have made the comment on here before that I have no idea which golden books are good golden books, which ones aren't. And yeah, see, this feels like it's just photocopied, which is so frustrating. But you can kind of get an idea on here of which golden books were, at least at this point in time, more valuable. So I looked up the one that I had that had the kitchen decals in the front. I got 2 of those. One book had it and one book didn't. And it was one of the more expensive books if you had the decal. There were also some, oh, well, this also gives you, where did it go? I just flipped past a page. Oh, and it's got an index of the Rand McNally Elf books. I didn't see that. That's fantastic, because those are the ones I'm trying to collect. Why would that be in here? Is that the same publisher? Rand McNally didn't publish the golden books, did they? I don't know. But anyway, there was a page in here that I thought I saw. But while I'm flipping through, it's just, well, it looks better on camera than it does in the real world. But it's still usable, right? I mean, this would still be, people buy ephemera packs off of Temu of small things. This is the same, only, well, I don't know. I can't say better because it isn't the greatest quality. But okay, this is what I was looking for. The backs of the different generations of golden books, so that you can learn by sight which ones are more expensive. You guys, it's got, oh, it does. It's got the golden guides. I don't know why I never put together that the golden guides were done by the same people as the golden books. That's dumb on my part. Okay, well, this might help me. Okay, so this is going to help me more for things I didn't intend it for. For one, it's going to help me because when I buy these golden guide books, and I've mentioned this before, I can't tell which ones are older than the others because some of them show the original copyright and then the reprints, and some of them don't. So this one's got the ones from 1959, which are not the oldest ones. But maybe I'll find something in here that will help me with that. I just was thinking the little golden books because that's what's on the cover. But oh, and it's even got foreign version ones. So, okay, well, some of these pictures are clear. Like these are very clear, but some of them just aren't. They look like they've got shadowing on them, and some of them are bigger, which is nice. So in that case, I will probably cut out the bigger ones and sacrifice all the little, oh, well, it's of course bigger ones on the back of it too. Well, anywho, but like this, look at this Charlie Brown one up here. That is too dark. That's not really very usable. And this seems like the kind of paper that might not age well. But yeah, so it's full of covers. So that's really what I was wanting. I just was really wanting them in color. So if you've ever seen a version of this that's in color, that I would be super interested in. But for $2, okay, it's not a big deal. All right, then the other lot was a game lot, but it did come with a little bit of ephemera with it. So I've got the ephemera here first. And some of this was actually pretty cool. And again with it, you kind of got to see it's a pile of ephemera. You don't know what you're getting. So a Christmas card front. You could frame that with the envelope. Oh, look at that. The inside of that, that's beautiful. Kind of doesn't match with the Christmas theme. Okay, now the best part of this, in my opinion, were these next few things. There were a bunch of envelopes and film envelopes in particular that people would put their film in and go take to be developed. We do have some crunchy newspaper and a tribute and benediction of Bishop Tuttle. So I think this particular bishop died, and this was his kind of his funeral program. Funeral program kind of thing. Owner's manual. But then here you go. Here's the best part, in my opinion, is all of these envelopes. Now these envelopes were the kind that opened up this way, and then you would, maybe this is not what you send your film in. Well, maybe, I guess this one is sending it off to be developed, but this is after you get them back. So they probably had the negatives on one side, and you can see they're not in very good shape, and then the pictures on one side. But these are great. I'm going to try to scan some of these. These are St. Louis. This was a St. Louis company, Hyatt's. I don't know if Hyatt's is still around. Then we've also got Erker Bros Optical envelope. So yeah, so there were a few of each of these, and there was ones that looked like this that were envelopes, and just more. Here's a envelope that came from Germany in 1921. It's got multiple stamps or cancellation or whatever they're called, postmarks on it. Some of them are from 22 and it's like they have 22 down here is the year maybe, but then it's also up here as 21, 1921, June the 20th. And then it's got this little Hamburg stamp, and then it's got some postmarks from once it got to St. Louis. So this is a fun little envelope. Another one of these. And then more funeral programs for Bishop Tuttle with his life and times kind of thing. Cool loose piece of paper. I don't know what I'm gonna do with these. I mean, it does have pictures in it, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with these. Bishop Tuttle Memorial and Endowment Fund, St. Louis, Missouri. But obviously I can use the paper, if nothing else. Was that all the, so that was, well, hold on. There's a couple more pieces of ephemera here. There was a United States Marines badge. My grandfather was a Marine, so that's awesome. My other grandfather was a naval man. What do they call them? Well, obviously the Navy, but like a Marine is a Marine. A Navy is not a Navy. What are they called? I don't know. Postcard. This says Japan before the War of 1914. Wow, it's like somebody, I mean, somebody did hand paint that for a postcard. And then we've got pieces of a telephone bill. The Bell Telephone Company. And cars flock to beach resorts. Just kind of some random. But then, Army and Navy needle book. Look at that. With all these little needle things in them. So that was exciting. I just love the lithography. Is that how you would say it? Lithography of the time? The lithographs? I just love that so much. So I was really happy. That in itself, so this auction, is this the receipt? No, this is the receipt for the Golden Book. This other auction, maybe it was $14. There was, I also bid on a old Monopoly game. And I have some Monopoly games kind of from the same era, but this particular one had the purse player piece, which I guess is pretty rare. And I put a maximum bid of $10 on that one, and it sold for over $50. So such is life. All right, then this is really the reason why I bid on it, because this was, I think, one of the boxes on top of the picture, and it's Lotto. And I've shown you guys Lotto games before. This one's obviously a bigger, much bigger box. Let's make this my thumbnail. And this has, so the game Lotto, which looks like these cards, I have seen in green and blue small cards, and then I've seen green big cards. I can't remember if I've seen any blue big cards, but these are the big cards, which I didn't have before, and I didn't know that's what they would be. But they are bigger. And how this was like, I don't know how, I do not know how this is played. If it's as simple as they would call the number 8, because it came with these, but I don't know if these go with it. So, and these are bingo like numbers, and I don't see any numbers higher than, oh, there's an 87. So, okay, bingo doesn't go up to 87. I think it only goes up to 75. So I guess those do go with this, although it doesn't seem like there's very many. And then there is, it's got the, okay, so it goes to 90. So I could take this and figure out which little pieces I'm missing if I wanted to. And then it's just got a random advertising. Now with something like this, it's kind of chippy. You could, some people will put this on sticker paper to keep it intact, or you could obviously glue it to just regular paper, which would help. But yeah, so there's a whole, so I was really kind of glad to get all of the big cards. So ultimately, I probably have gotten my best deals from these estate auctions. But let me tell you another story, because I won a third auction and I do not have the items in here for that auction. I won another auction. Both of these were in town. So one day during my lunch break, Jason and I went and picked these up. But one of the auctions, it was the second time I had done an auction with this company. The first time I'd actually been able to go pick up the items. But I won this auction and it was like, you need to come pick these up by this date, or you can request shipping. Well, I won, it was a lot of 2 rolls of tickets in colors that I don't have, and a black light. And I won it for $4, but I didn't really want the black light, even though I think that would be kind of cool, unless I put it in the bathroom, and then that would be super scary. But I think it'd be cool to have a black light, but I'm like, what am I gonna, I don't have anywhere to put it right now, kind of thing. And usually with auctions, you can leave behind the stuff you don't want, and they'll either resell it, or I don't know if they throw it away or what they do with it. So I emailed them after I got the receipt, and I said, I would like shipping, and I would only like the tickets. And I didn't hear anything. Well, then the next day I get a phone call asking me where I am to pick up this stuff. And so I texted them back and I said, I sent an email yesterday. You probably, I guess you haven't seen it, but I would like shipping, etc. And so they said, okay, watch your email for the shipping invoice. So like a week goes by, I don't see any invoices coming through. So I texted them back and I said, is there something else I'm supposed to do? I have not seen an invoice. So then they're like, who are you? And so I tell them, and they're like, what do you want? And I'm like, well, I want the stuff, but I don't want the black light. And they're like, okay, we'll take it to they have a mail service there in their little town, I guess, that does all their shipping for them. And so then the next day I did get an invoice, but the shipping was $19. I'm like, $19? I mean, the ticket rolls are probably heavy, but why is it $19? So then I look at the dimensions and it's like 51 inches long. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So then I wrote to those people and I said, is this so expensive because they gave you the black light too? And they're like, yeah, isn't that part of your order? And I'm like, oh, I told them to keep that, but okay, I guess I'll just take it at this point because it's been too much trouble. So they shipped the black light but the box is kind of too big, so that's why I don't have it in here. But yeah, so it's better if you're going to do an auction and you're potentially getting something big, it's better if you can pick it up in person as opposed to having it shipped. But hopefully I'll be happy with the tickets. All right, so now we've got a newspaper from 1935. from the St. Louis Star-Times, which I do not believe still exists. We have the Post-Dispatch today. So this will be some great, there's probably a few advertisements in here maybe, but just the overall newsprint is nice. So that was part of the auction. And then there were these that are beautiful, but I need to figure out how to, like, one of them needs to be cleaned. But they're beautiful. Yeah, one of them's got foxing on this corner over here. I don't know if you can see it, but look how beautiful that is. I don't know if this is just simply considered embroidery. It's a very, very shiny floss that they've used or whatever. And it's beautiful. I don't know if these are, if somebody bought these in Japan or China. I'm sorry, I don't know which language this is, but they're beautiful and they're birds. So I should Google this, right, and to translate it. But yeah, this one doesn't appear to have any damage to it, but I don't know, is this how it would have been framed? Like the frame would go around all the paper part and you would just see, I don't know, because it's completely enclosed on the back. So I don't know. If you have any ideas of what I could do with this, let me know, because they're beautiful. And maybe it doesn't matter. And I don't know if this is foxing or if it's just water damage over here. It can't even really, I'm not even really showing it, am I? But it's somewhat damaged over there. And I guess this one shows the kind of the edge of the canvas or whatever. So yeah, I would like to figure out something to do with that, but at this point in time, I don't know what that would be. So let me get these things put back in here. And then there's a few more things that came in this lot that I'll show you here in a minute. All right. I don't think that was from that. Okay, there was a canasta game, which I was, once I saw that I got it, I was hoping there would be score sheets in here and maybe a cool deck of cards. I guess I didn't open this one yet because the thing was still on there. Is this, this feels like Scrabble, not canasta. You guys, this doesn't say canasta. This says ginasta. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I've never heard of that before. So it's got triple meld, double tile, triple tile. What is this? This is 1954 ginasta. Well, I can make some stuff out of this board. It doesn't have very many tiles though. Certainly no score sheets, unfortunately. Oh, cool. So, as you might have guessed, the tiles are cards. Okay, well, I may have to actually learn how to play this. I may keep this if I can figure out if it's got, so it would have to have, what, 52 tiles. Okay, well, that'll give me something to do later today after I'm done filming, see if it's got all 52 tiles. But there's no instructions. But I guess that explains. Are there instructions on the, oh, there's instructions on the inside of the box. Yay. Okay, well, Jason and I really like cards, and maybe this would be a fun game to learn how to play. And then there was a spirograph, which I didn't open this either, and it's got an old rubber band stuck to it. I've made the assumption that it's the spirograph stuff is still in here. I guess at some point, I'm not going to open it now, but at some point maybe I'll find out that's not true. And maybe I'll find some different treasure in here. And then, well, this one I need to open, but I didn't bring scissors again. We've got bridge. Learn to play bridge. And this stuff is kind of grungy. Well, before I open this, let me just show this real quick. Kung Fu Checky. Mexican Checky. It's basically Chinese checkers, right? Only Mexican checkers, which you'd play the same way. So you just need to get yourself some marbles. And it's got a checkerboard on the back, but it does have holes in it for some weird reason. So I don't know, you could put this on the wall, right? Some people do that. They take old board games and frame them. This one's already framed. So yeah, so I've never seen Kung Fu Checky or Mexican Checky, but looks like it'd be the same thing as Chinese checkers. All right, let's see if we can undo this rope that's knotted by a Boy Scout. Why do Boy Scouts learn how to tie knots, but Girl Scouts don't? I never learned how to tie knots. And you know how with Boy Scouts, it was like a real honor to become an Eagle Scout? Why isn't there an equivalent like that in Girl Scouts? I mean, I don't think a junior or a senior or whatever, they're a cadet, I don't think that's the equivalent to an Eagle Scout. Like, I feel like you really had to work hard to earn an Eagle Scout. Okay, well, this is interesting. So we've got the instructions. We've got a board. Oh my. All right, so if you've seen the auto bridge games I've got, they're much smaller, but they're maybe kind of like this, because underneath this board, we would use these papers. So that is kind of cool. There's a bunch of these papers, so I can cut these up. Yeah, they're like I could cut them up so each person gets, you know, a circle. And then there's a piece of cardboard in the bottom. Maybe that's to keep there's not edges on the green top part that would kind of clamp onto this, but maybe that's to keep it from moving around too much. And then there are these wooden little pieces. So, okay. Let me get those put back out of the way. So yeah, I've never seen one of these before either. So I don't know if this is another one where, if it's strictly for learning how to play bridge, or if it's so you can play bridge by yourself like the other ones are. The auto bridge. Okay. Let me see now if this will fit properly in the box. Okay, that fits better. So now how many, there's maybe 10 pieces of this paper. It's a nice, very nicely patinaed paper. And then you get these dials. I don't know, you guys. Like, what would I do with this? I don't know. Somebody out there who's got way more creativity would think of something. But yeah, these are kind of grungy kinds of, well, it says instructions for solo bridge. So I guess, but it's from the Solo Bridge Company. So that's why I don't. Okay, learn as you play, always a foursome. 3 masters and you make the 4th. Advanced players improve your playing and bidding. Experts, marvelous practice and entertainment. So yeah, you can play by yourself with that. Ugh, it feels, I'm all like covered in dust now. You really should not do hauls like this on your bed. But here I am. All right, now we can get into, actually, I'll be right back. Hi, let me take a brief moment out of our video to let you know that today's video is sponsored by Junk for Goats. Junk for Goats is my business where I sell and resell vintage, antique, and some modern ephemera for all of your junk journaling or crafting needs. I have shops on Etsy, Whatnot, and I list my digital items on my coffee shop. All of the links for those are below in the description, so please check that out. It's also important to note that 10% of all the proceeds from my sales are used to purchase goats from Compassion International. Those goats are provided to families across the world to help them meet their own families' needs in terms of their diet, but they can also take and sell the milk and the cheese that they produce from their goats to their friends and family nearby, helping to provide them with an income source that is valuable in the areas in which they live. So if you would like to craft with a difference, please check out the description below. And as always, thank you, and please enjoy the rest of the video. Thanks. Okay, now we can get into the other things that I just thrifted. We've got, yeah, how many bingo? This one looked like it might be different though. And, well, I mean, I had to guess because it's still sealed, but I also am looking for more of the number tokens for the bingo. I've got ones that are plain or paper, but I really want more of the numbered ones. All right, so we've got a box in here that's got, oh, well, this has got the colored ones, the colored wood, which is good. I've seen those for sale on Etsy. And then it's got a nice little bag for these. Oh, here's the other difference. The Lotto ones didn't have letters, didn't have the BINGO on them. So we have a whole bag of those. Oh, an envelope for the bingo markers. And then, wow, okay, so what is that? One red point? What is that? Can I even get it so we can see? It says OPA 1 point. Is that like a ration kind of thing? All right, well, anyway, we've got these bingo cards that don't have any kind of publisher's mark or anything on them, but I do not have these. So there's a whole set of these. I don't know why I felt like I needed to pull them all out. And let's see if we've got a year on here anywhere. I've got the rules, and on the back of the rules, it's got the numbers. But there is no... Oh, well, now I'm really curious about that little... That doesn't belong with bingo, but yeah, OPA, 1 red point. So I don't know if it's a game or if it's a token. You know what I mean? All right, does this box have a date on it? This is a Whitman game. And no date on the box. So I'll have to Google that. So, okay, that seemed like a pretty good deal. Well, actually, I don't know if it was a good deal. I don't know what I paid for it. Then I found this huge book, which is Train Register, an unused train register. So I thought that was exciting. I may send a sheet of this off to Sweet Shop Scraps because she is collecting train things. But this is a train register for Burlington Northern, and quite a few pages still in here, and none of them are written on. I kind of wish there had been some that were written on just so I could see what it looked like when it was written on. But yeah, it's huge. So I could probably cut that down, put in my ledger kit. Then we have a bag of stuff. It says $2, but I think this came from a Salvation Army. Where do people get these huge Ziploc bags? And the Ziploc bag probably cost more than what they sold it for. Okay, well, we've got some Dollar Tree stuff in here. So we got some cork board. If you want to make your own bulletin board. Shoot, a lot of this stuff looks like Dollar Tree stuff. Stickers. These are kind of cool. These flowers. I can definitely see using those. A sticker for your glass. So it looks like, yeah, it looks like we've just, why would somebody buy a bunch of Dollar Tree things and not use them? I think I probably just got this because I was like, I hope there's something kind of cool in there. Some Halloween stickers, some tree bark, wood stems. I don't know how to use that. Some more, only thinner. What do you like? What do you use that for? I don't know. A reindeer that you could paint. Now this one, this might be interesting to find a use for, right? Although it doesn't really fit into the vintage theme, but maybe when I do, if I ever do my strawberry theme, this might go well with that. I see some some disco balls in our future. Some little ornaments or something. Some shell beads. There's a couple packages of those. Could do a mermaid. Aw. I love owls, you guys. A little keychain for an owl. It's kind of random, right? A dill button. I don't know if that's clay or leather. Polyamide button. I don't know. These little packs are fun though because you get kind of random stuff. Sticky paper flowers. Confetti for Easter, maybe. Yeah, those are chicks and bunnies. Some more sticky paper flowers. Oh, another, I guess these could be a closure on a journal. Hide sewing machine company bag. Oh, and some seed beads. They're kind of in, well, vintagey colors. So probably not the same colors I would put on. I want to make some friendship beads. But pins, friendship pins with seed beads. But I need them to be a little bit more colorful. All right, then we just have some loose stuff here in the bottom. I've got a Hides sewing machine. Oh, they're in St. Louis on Lindbergh. Oh, I wonder if they're probably pretty close to me. So they had here's a key, another keychain. And there's some loose, well, I don't need to take these out, do I? What is that? Here's another thing from that extravaganza. Oh, like a pop socket. And then some loose shells and a button. Okay, well that was kind of an interesting little craft bag. Almost makes me wonder if they won this craft bag at the extravaganza. Because I don't know how old or new these Dollar Tree things are. But yeah, I like the owl keychain. All right. But look at that this huge bag. All right, then back to the antique store. So I bought this because I wanted the receipts inside. So this is super heavy. So these, I don't know if this would have been the kind of thing they would have carried around in a truck when they would go do their, it says Missouri washer parts. So the distributor, is this like a carry around in his truck, and as he sells things, he fills this out? But this is super heavy. But I think you can just lift it up. Okay, I should not have done this on the bed. Amy, when am I going to learn? But it is full of receipts. Now, it's designed in a way that the carbon goes underneath the metal and the receipt goes on top. But because there's the part that's in between is the carbon paper. So let me just close this back down. But yeah, this was 10 bucks. I do remember the price on this because I remember being kind of surprised that it was only 10 bucks. But yeah, I got it for the receipts inside, to get some vintage receipts. And then I finally bought one of these. I keep seeing these around, but this feels like the oldest one that I've seen. The spines on these don't last very long, but if I were going to make a big journal, like this is kind of too big for, like most people don't make journals this big, but I feel like this would be a good one to do. And then I would just have pull this part out or cut it off or whatever. But it is chock full of gardening pages. I don't know. It's really just it's like buying a vintage a vintage scrapbook paper pack. And do we have a year on this? 1951, the year my mom was born, first edition. So it is, I have seen newer versions of this. So and I've never picked them up because honestly, it's really, even though it's gardening and flowers, although here, I just opened to my favorite flower, the lilac. That's a really pretty page. So what am I talking about? It's gorgeous. So, but yeah, I've passed those up before, but I'm glad that I got that one. I think it was on sale, like the particular booth that had a lot of these things. It was 20% off, and it was already kind of a good price to begin with. And then I found this, which you can tell is old. It was not marked. And so the lady graciously called the owner of this to see what they would charge, and they said $6, and I said, yes, please. Anytime I can find a super old game like this, I mean, $6 was a great price. Now I wish it was in a little bit better shape and that it didn't have, this might be the original tag from the store where this was sold, because it doesn't look like a garage sale kind of sticker. So it came with the directions. And why is it spelled this way instead of RUMMY? I don't know, except maybe it's just old. It's from 1914. So I could scan these, but it's before, not before, because there are older cards that it's, I guess, its own game. It does not have the traditional suits, but it's got a multitude of other games that you can play with these cards. So instead of your typical suits, well, it looks like this on the back. And then you've got unicorns are one of the suits. Crowns are a suit. Shields. And what's the last? Helmets. So I don't know I don't know why. I guess they just, maybe they thought that traditional playing cards just wouldn't become a thing, wouldn't catch on. So let's create our own. But the fact that they called it Rummy, people had to have been playing Rummy already, I would have thought. But, and so it goes up to 13 instead of, king. So yeah, so I was super happy to get that game. And I think I'm going to try to scan some parts of it. And then not vintage is a Hoyle. This might have been, this was a small little antique store that we'd never been to before, and it's actually not very far from us. But it's in kind of Old Town St. Charles, but it's not on Main Street, if any of you are familiar with that area. It's on the outskirts, really, of town, but it's in the old part, the old outskirts of town. And they had a room in it that was everything for or 5 things for $1, and I think this was one of them. These are not really in the best of condition, but they're, stuck together still. But I think they've been played at some point because they're not still in the plastic wrap, but they are stuck, which could mean they're water damaged, or I don't know, maybe they really weren't played and they really were never wrapped in plastic. But there was a Dairy Queen tray in this room that Jason found and picked, and as we were coming out of there, the lady was like, do you want me to hold this stuff for you up at the counter, so you don't have to carry it around? And we were like, sure. And she's like, I don't think that Dairy Queen tray belonged in there. And Jason was like, oh, okay, well, that's where I found it. But, you know, if somebody else carried it in there or whatever. He's like, is it still for sale though? And so she called the lady to find out. And it sounded like, no, it wasn't for sale. It was maybe just a display piece. And then, because then the lady asked, well, how much would you sell it for? And then they came back and said 40 bucks. So we were like, well, forget that, 40 bucks. But it was a neat piece. Oh no, I just dropped a whole bunch of cards on my lap. All right, so I found a deck of cards, pretty flowers. It was by itself, so no pair to match it with, but I have several other single cards that I can hopefully find a match. Then I found another single match with this pretty horse and rider. And these feel pretty old. They're Belmont playing cards, but I don't see a year or anything. And then I found a package of these. I don't need more pictures. I bought all the pictures off of that one lady that was for the antique store that was closing, but I don't know. I just liked these, and it was I think $2 for the bag. So that seemed like a good price for snapping up a few pictures. And they're the nice, thick, I don't know if you'd call these cabinet cards too. I feel like cabinet cards are the smaller ones, but maybe these are too. It's got the photographer's information down here instead of on the back. None of these have it on the back. That one's a pretty one. Boston. This one has a note on the back in a really pretty, it says Fritz, alias. Oh, this kid must be Fritz, but that's an alias. Or maybe it's a girl, because it says Miss Matilda Ethel Elbel. Compliments of Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Elbel. So, okay, Fritz. And then another. So some of these, they fade and they're really washed out, but I don't know. I mean, part of me says journal cover. You know, you could make a journal cover, but I don't know that anybody would buy that. Just a random dude on the cover of their journal. But they're certainly a good enough thickness and quality for that. But yeah, probably, maybe if it were a fancy lady in some really fancy dress, that might work as a journal cover, but probably not, like, not a guy. All right, then, I'm Glad for God. Just a cute little book with cute little images. And another one, Thank You, God. So I really liked those. And then found one of these. Okay, no, I was going to say I found one of these American or Hallmark cards by Mary Johnson. She is, so Betsy Clark and Mary Johnson did a lot of the artwork in the 70s and 80s for Hallmark. A lot of the illustrations, and there are books, like there's a happiness book that has probably Mary Johnson's artwork on it, although I'm not positive. And so I really thought that's what I was getting with this. I'm trying to get the tape off. Is it stuck down to the pages too? Oh, it is. Oh, that's lovely. But I really thought that's what this was, because there were a lot of these kind of books that Hallmark produced in this kind of time period. But no, this one's American Greetings. but it's a gorgeous book. I'm going to be putting this into my collection because I have the other books in my collection, and yeah, they put the tape, and it's like packing tape. So I'll have to try to get that off. But this is copyright 1968. Friends Are Like Flowers, and it's just a darling little book. But I really thought this was Mary Johnson. Mary Johnson. So this is Maria Paoletti did the artwork in this, but it's very similar to Mary Johnson's. And it kind of has that Hallmarky font. So I guess everybody was just using that kind of font back in the day. But yeah, this gets added to my personal collection. And then I found some board books from the 60s. This one's 65. They're both 65. That I thought could be cute journal covers, perhaps with an odd shape. That's really the only thing I can think of to use these for is journal covers. But it does, I mean, obviously I can use this, the front and the back as one, and hope that my cinch machine kind of lands with these same bindings. But yeah, these others you could use too. I guess, you know, Twinkle Twinkle's not a bad, these little poems to have on the outside. Georgie Porgy, Little Bo Peep. So there are, there's only 5 pages, so I can only get 2 covers out of this one. And it's not the same shape as this one, so I can't interchange them. But yeah, that's really what I thought I would do with it. And this one has 5 also, so I can only get 2 covers out of it. Unless I find they're valuable and then I just want to resell them. All right, we are almost done. You guys, I, like a fool, spent like $25 on this contraption to put into my personal collection. It's probably not even old. But I'm an accountant. So I got this to be a piece for my desk. And it's like an odometer. I mean, it's an adding machine. And then you could do this to, well, let me see if I move one and it reset that one. Okay, well, it doesn't work all that well. I'm pretty sure I tried it in the store though, and it reset everything. Like I just moved 2 of them and it did reset those to 0. But yeah, so I guess if you went forward, you were adding, and if you went backwards, you were subtracting. But who would have used this? Like really, who? Like how would this be used? I mean, if you get, okay, hold on. Let me see if I can get this all reset to 0. Okay, all reset to 0. So I'm gonna move this one all the way, and then it does make the other one. So, okay, I guess you'd only really ever be moving that last one. Now, if I go backwards, if I subtract, is it gonna take that one back to 0? It does. Okay, well that's not, I don't feel so stupid now, although I shouldn't have paid $25 for it, but I just thought it was cool. But really, in what practical sense would somebody use that? Okay, next we've got a World at a Glance. Which is kind of neat. It's got tabs, you know, down here at the bottom. And then so if you wanted to, say, open it to this spot in particular, well, if you're not holding it up for everybody to see, then you get to that. And then it's also got distances, and it's got more. Does it have more? It's got something on both sides. It's not just a single-sided, but I thought that was neat. And it's a pretty thick cardstock, so yeah, I may end up separating these at the seams to go in stuff. And this is just a calendar for what year? 1935. So 1935 calendar on the front. Thank you to the person some years ago that wrote on there. And is it open, or is it just, oh, it's just a, well, it's like felt on the back, or construction paper, I guess. So what would you do with this? You can't, it's not a magnet. I don't see any holes for, like, I guess you would have just put it on a cork board or something. Okay, well, I hope I didn't spend too much on that. And then I found a booth that had their sewing patterns on sale. And I find sewing patterns kind of expensive, especially if they're old. But this one, I guess, that seemed kind of reasonable. Well, actually, I just bought the one package. Okay. I'm really wanting to find more of the embroidery patterns, because they have some really cool, like if you wanted to wrap with that paper, they're really cool. But it's, okay, so we've got multiple patterns in this bag, but it looks like we don't have covers for all of them. So we've got the tissue paper and this makes good journal paper and wrapping paper, good wrapping paper. Both of them are good for that. Yeah, so somebody was selling them without, well, it's okay. So I'm at least getting this image with this too, that'll never come off, because this is like construction paper. I wish I could buy, I tried buying some ivory construction paper from Amazon, but it was not this texture. This is more like, it feels like a recycled paper texture, kind of like what I attribute to construction paper. But it came, and like the edges you can kind of tell are that construction paper, but it's smoother than I was hoping, because until I can build up my supply of vintage plain paper to go on the back of book pages to create journaling space, I want to use something that sort of looks like it. So that's why I got the ivory or cream colored construction paper. But yeah, it's not quite the right texture that I want. This is really the texture that I want. But I don't think these have a lot of white space on them. Not the kind that would enable me to cover up the back of a plate, for example, so that people have writing space. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, where do you find, like, I want the quality of Dollar Tree construction paper. You know, not very good, because that to me feels more aged. All right, Peanut has finally decided to show up. So yeah, we're just mainly getting, it looks like we got three patterns. Oh, that's kind of cute. 3 patterns in addition to the one that I was buying for this, which is in really bad shape. So I don't know. I think I was thinking there were going to be more covers in here than there were. All right, well that is the last item. I think I'm caught up maybe on hauling, minus all of the Litchfield mystery boxes, which I can't haul until I can get a space where I don't have to be on my bed, even though I opened some horrible things on the bed today. But are you coming over here to say hi? This is Peanut. She likes that dust on my fingers, I guess. I'm surprised that she's not been in here all day as I've been filming, because she likes to sit under the TV tray, but I've got it totally packed with stuff right now. So she'll have to come sit on my lap. All right, do we know where the TV trivia cards are? Yes, here. So let's do a quick game of nostalgic TV trivia. What am I gonna do when I run out of these cards? People make podcasts of trivia, so I should be able to come up with my own trivia questions if I need to. But I really like doing these old ones that I never know the answers to. Okay, who portrayed Phyllis Pruitt on The Pruitts of Southampton? They also managed to pull the weirdest shows out of the woodwork. Who starred as Susie McNamara on Private Secretary? Who played Sheriff Titus Semple on Flamingo Road? Who played Sheriff Buford Pusser on Walking Tall? Name the bear who played Gentle Ben on Gentle Ben. Name the head ranger of Jellystone Park, home of Yogi Bear. In Bonanza, Ben Cartwright had 3 sons. Name 2 of them. Who was the star on the police series Highway Patrol? Okay, you guys, I think I only know one of these. The Bonanza one. All right, who portrayed Phyllis Pruitt on The Pruitts of Southampton? Well, is it possible that they did reality TV back then? I don't think so, but I'm going to say Phyllis Pruitt because I don't know. Who starred as Susie McNamara on Private Secretary? Susie McNamara? I've never heard of that one either. Who played Sheriff Titus Semple on Flamingo Road? Now, what if on one of these I don't say the name they say and it is that name? So I'm going to have to just keep going. I'm going to say Titus Semple. I've never heard of Flamingo Road. I've never heard of Walking Tall. So I'm going to say Sheriff Buford Pusser was played by Buford Pusser. Name the bear who played Gentle Ben on Gentle Ben. Let's just call him Ben. Name the head ranger of Jellystone Park, home of Yogi Bear. I realize I should know that, but I was not into cartoons at all, so I don't know. In Bonanza, Ben Cartwright had 3 sons. Name 2 of them. Well, there was Little Joe, Michael Landon, and there was Hoss, which was Dirk Blocker. Dirk? Or not Dirt. Must have been Dirk. Whose son was on Little House on the Prairie, learning how to read. And whose son was on Brooklyn Nine-Nine as one of the silly detectives or whatever. But what was the other, that was Pernell Roberts, right? And he and Michael Landon did not get along. And I don't know if that's why he left the show, but I don't know what his name was because I didn't watch those. Like, how many seasons was that guy on? I don't know. Who was the star on the police series Highway Patrol? No idea. Can't even guess. This card is terrible. Terrible, terrible. Although I have had cards where I haven't gotten any, so I guess this is better. Who portrayed Phyllis Pruitt on The Pruitts of Southampton? Dang it, it's Phyllis Diller. I almost said Phyllis Diller because that's the only Phyllis I knew. Son of a gun. I wanted to say son of a donkey, but son of a gun. Shoot, I really did almost say that. Who starred as Susie McNamara on Private Secretary? Ann Southern. This Ann Southern person, she got around. She has been the answer to a lot of questions. Who played Sheriff Titus Semple on Flamingo Road? Howard Duff. Who played Sheriff Buford Pusser on Walking Tall? Bo Svensson. That makes me think of Doc Severinsen, who did those BVD underwear commercials. I don't know why. Name the bear who played Gentle Ben on Gentle Ben. It was Bruno. Name the head ranger of Jellystone Park, home of Yogi Bear. Ranger John Smith. Well, that's original. In Bonanza, Ben Cartwright had 3 sons. Name 2 of them. Adam, of course. Adam Haas and Little Joe. And who was the star on the police series Highway Patrol? It was Broderick Crawford. All right, how did you do? I think that card stunk big time. But maybe you knew all those. I don't know. But let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for spending a little part of your day with me today. And I hope you'll come back for more content in the future. Thank you for everyone who supports this channel with their likes, their comments, their watch time. I don't care if you put me on and fall asleep. That's fine with me. I've been told my voice can put people to sleep. I think they meant it as a compliment, actually, but there you have it. And thank you to my members. And have I had this lipstick on my teeth all episode long? Great. My lips are shedding, so that's awesome. But anyway, wherever you are, whenever you are, I hope you're having a great day. And until we meet again, take care of yourself. Bye.